Hello and welcome back to Iran Travel Guide. We've just been traveling on the road in the northwest of Iran and we thought we should stop and show you this amazing sight behind us. The weather's not perfect for the view today, but this is Mount Sabalan. It's an extinct volcano with a crater at the top which has an acidic lake in it.
And Mount Sabalan is the perfect place for hiking. For hiking, if you're interested in hiking, you can come along 4,811 meters. You can go up to the mountains, and there are telecabin and telesiege, or the chair table that you can take and go up in the mountains. And there is a skiing resort up there that you can enjoy your time there.
Yes, you can go skiing even in May. It's so cold up there, and the snow lasts for a long period of the year.
You can see now some of the snow. Yeah, as he said, the weather is not perfect for having a clear vision of the Sabalan, but there is still snow on the mountains, and you see it's sunny here and he's wearing shorts.
Yes, absolutely. One thing that's interesting about this region is the proximity of different areas to each other, different environments. There's a beautiful big wide open plain in front of us which is used for a lot of agriculture. A lot of Iran's food comes from here, especially wheat, potatoes, as well as fruit. But if you go a couple of hours down the road from here and you go to Astara, you're at the Caspian Sea, where you can swim in the sea and then come skiing in the same day if you want to.
The herbs in this area are very famous. We tried some of ashaduk before. Ashaduk is the soup of Iran, which is very famous in this area, in Ardabil area and in this area. They pick up all the herbs from this area and they use that for different purposes, medical purposes and cooking, of course. And another thing which is very famous in this area is honey.
Yes, the honey from Sarain is renowned throughout Iran. People especially ask for it when they go to stores in other cities. They want to try the honey from this area. It's just behind us on the plain, you can see it here, but the combination of flowers as well as crops in this area make sure that the honey is a really unique taste.
And there are lots of different cities around Sabalan Mountains, which you can come and located in any of them. We have Ardabil around it, we have Sarain, you can have a look at Sarain in the background. There is Meshkin Shah, and if you go further, there is Sarab.
This area has a lot of forests to it as well. There's forests, there's plains, there's mountains, there's rivers. There's a whole bunch of different environments, all very close to each other. So whatever you're looking for, you can find it here. If you don't like the heat and you think perhaps a trip to somewhere like Shiraz or Mashhad might be a bit forbidding for you, especially in summer, then coming here is much easier on the climate for you.
So that's it, Sabalan Mountains, and thank you for being with us with Iran Travel Guide.
Yeah, let's get back in the car. Stay tuned with us for more coming up soon.
Stay tuned. You're now taller than Sabalan. This city has more than 30 hot springs here, which has been like really nice developed. And so you can come here if you're interested in hot spring. And these hot springs have capacity to be used for medical reasons, for other reasons, or just for fun.
Yes, tourists have been coming here in their droves, and there's a lot of new hotels coming up, including the one we're on, which is, has a very good reputation in town. So there's all sorts of range of accommodation, from cheaper ones to very expensive high-class hotels here.
And this city now actually is just hotels and some restaurants, cafes, and just some souvenir shop.
Yes,
where you can buy honey, which is the most important thing that you can buy from this city.
Yeah, the honey is great here. It's really, really nice. We've had the chance to try some, which has been brilliant, and it's one of the reasons that people come here as well, just to buy the honey from here. It's the hot springs as well bring people here, but overall there's just a great combination of factors which have combined to make this small town grow into a tourist hub.
So, out of that 31, I have some of them here. The most famous one is that Gamishgali, which is 67 degrees.
And that just comes straight out of the mountain,
right? Yeah, that's very hot, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there is one which is called Karasu, which is the black water, that's the translation. But you know, the thing is, like, this hot water...
Thank you very much.
Merci. That hot water springs have like the medical uses. It's very good for joints and pains, like body pains. Also, they say it's very good for relaxation. So if you're suffering from like a disease, like for a long time, so you can come here, give a relaxation to your both body and to your mind.
So it's like almost like spas of a sort, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
People come here to get the benefits of the hot water.
Yeah, can I have some hot water too?
Of course.
Let me put this first.
Hello, welcome back to Iran Travel Guide. You're joining us as we're traveling west along this coast of the Caspian Sea, from Ramsar towards Lahijan. And on the way we stopped to find this very special place.
Yes, this is a very special place. It's a burial place of one of the most famous dervishes of this country, Sheikh Zahed Gilani, who was from the same province of Gilan, where we are at the moment there.
Yes, he died over 600 years ago, and this structure was built around 100 years after his death, so 500 years ago, to celebrate the life and the teachings that he had as his dervish teachings, and that influenced later dynasties.
And something very important about this place is the architecture. In north of Iran, the architecture is very different. So we have the villages, the style of the villages architecture, but this place has its own special architecture. It is very beautiful, and it's also very different from whatever you've seen so far.
Yes, it is. I mean, what we've seen in Persia so far has been lots of curves, what they call tourange. We saw a lot of this in Shiraz. But this one has much more straight lines, diagonals, and broken lines.
Yes, and also the terraces in front of the building has also been made in a square or rectangle forms.
So it's a really different sort of cultural background which this area comes from, and this area is special for.
Yes, and Sheikh Zahid Gilani, who was one of the most famous dervishes here, it's been said that he was the master of Sheikh Safiuddin Ardabili, who his resting place is in Ardabil, one of the most famous places in Iran, and something that all the tourists know about it, and they go to visit that place.
Yes, one other thing we can see about the architecture here is how it's built to withstand a different type of heat. The heat here is not just the heat of the desert, it's not dry air. It's next to the Caspian Sea, which is behind us, just out of shot here, next to this coastal plain, just on the foothills as we go up into the mountains. So it's a very humid environment, and that requires a different sort of architecture to protect from the heat. And we can see how that works here with the big dome, the 8-sided dome, which funnels air through it to create a breeze.
And also to protect the building from the rains, from heavy rains of the north of Iran. Because of the rains, because of the humidity of this area, it is very easy to get this kind of places to get destroyed.
Yes. So come with us as we have a look around. We're going to take you inside and show you a bit about the thing.
Join us. If you're interested in Iran history and the art of this country, you definitely have heard about art of the tile works, as you can see in the background. Tile works has a very special role in Iranian architecture. So I just want to ask you, interviewing you, what do you think? Because art of the tile works like this in Iran, it's very unique.
Yes, it is.
And it's not something that you can find it in any other places.
No.
So what do you feel when you see that?
I mean, it's very nicely done, of course. I mean, there's that element there, which means that it's very beautiful. But what I find most interesting about it is how it's not just for decoration, just to show off, but it's everywhere. You see it in people's houses, in the bazaars, in the churches, in the mosques, or everywhere has a tile works. Different styles exist, and they're interesting to kind of see the regional varieties. But it is just everywhere, and that's what's amazing for it.
Yeah, and there are many different styles of tile work in Iran. It depends on where you are, which period of time, which side of the country.
Can you tell me which tile work?
Yeah, what you can see, actually this place has been renovated a couple of times, but also what you can see, this is called the 7-color artwork, tile work. As you can see, the colors of these tiles are 7, and the design, it's a bit different from the original one because the shapes, the forms are less round and there are more broken lines, even in this ones.
Yes,
it's very unique, and belongs to this area.
Great. No, I mean, it's really nice. It gives a kind of character to the area and gives a character to all of the buildings we see. It's something which does make things more interesting and is used to sort of just give everywhere a bit of a special feeling, a unique feeling of what this place is as compared to somewhere else. I suppose an expert, for example, could tell just by looking at the tile work where he was in the country or where she was looking at.
That's true. So if you're an expert, come here. There are lots of tiles and lots of tile styles here to be studied. Have a look around. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
So we've been spending some time in this beautiful place in north of Iran, in Gilan province, the city of Lahijan.
Yes, we've been here looking around the building and enjoying the architecture. It's important to realize that the north of Iran is more famous perhaps for its beaches, its coasts, its water sports and its nature, but it does also have things like this, which are beautiful and show the history and the culture as well.
So hope you enjoyed this place. Stay tuned because there is more to come from this show.
Hello and welcome again to Iran Travel Guide. As you can probably see, we're in the middle of a beautiful garden here. This is the Nazar Garden, which is in Shiraz. And although many cities in Iran are famous for their gardens, Shiraz is, by everyone's definition, number one. Shiraz has an ancient culture of gardens springing from the old ones which grew up naturally and then were copied by people to make an art form out of it, really. We have a lot of different types of gardens here and we would like to learn a bit more about them. So we're speaking to Mr. Ghasemi here to tell us a little bit more about the gardens of Shiraz specifically.
شیراز از لحاظ جغرافیایی یک موقعیت خیلی خاص داره. خب آب و هوای خیلی گرم و قاعدتاً مردم این شهر نیازمند آب هستند. مسئله اصلی اینه که
Shiraz itself, it's famous because of the garden. Mr. Ghasemi just was telling me about the reasons that all these gardens are here because of your question. So Shiraz, because of the geographical situation of the city, it's a dry city. So they need to bring the water from outside, from the mountains. So because of that, they have made like underground channels of the waters, which brings the water from outside of the city to the center of the city. But because Shirazis believe that you should not waste the water, so they have made these channels in a way that through the way that these channels or this water passing through the city, everywhere they have made gardens or trees to be able to make the city beautiful and use this water at the same time.
Make the best use of the water, and as we can see, they've done a very, very good job of it. The trees here, the flowers are beautiful. The smells you get walking into one of these gardens, they're both incredibly nice, but also really different. There's a lot of different smells you get. Somehow you get ones from the trees, from the blossoms of the orange trees, which are very famous, from the lemon trees, then from the flowers, some of which you can see right here. And it's really just kind of a lovely experience, especially when you sit down in the shade, sit down with some tea, have
Exactly.
Nice.
In the culture of Shirazis, gardens have a very special position, it's a very special thing for them. So I was talking to Mr. Ghasemi before and he was telling me that Shirazis, they love the nature so much that even sometimes for the breakfast, like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, they just come to the garden, eat their breakfast, then go to the work.
And why not when it's like this?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Why not? So why not you do the same thing too? Why not you come to Shiraz and have a picnic in Shiraz? We hope to see you here and thank you for being with us with Iran Travel Guide. Please follow us with the next chapter.